I've been using these incredible BLAZAR REMUS Anamorphic lenses for a few months now, and I have the set of 3 that come in a nice box. A couple of the questions that I get asked quite a lot is about filters and matte boxes. One of the great things about these lenses is that they're compact and they're perfect for gimbal use, handheld use. And what ideally we don't want to do is start having a whole load of weights to the front of the lens or the camera ring, keeping it nice and compact. And what I've done is I've bought a magnetic filter ring which goes on the end of the lens. Now it actually sits perfectly in line with the lens, and because all the lenses have got the same diameter, I've just bought 3 of them. And these are K&F filters. Now, I found them pretty good. So immediately, as soon as you've put the magnetic filter on, what you can then do is you can use the magnetic lens cap, which of course you don't need to because you've already got the BLAZAR lens cap. So the lens cap sits on there. But I've also got a filter pouch, and in the filter pouch, I've got a variable ND, I've got a Pro Mist, and I've got a polarizer. So if we were taking the Pro Mist, for example, and you pop it on, and then it's on the lens. There you go. So now I've got my black mist filter without having to screw and unscrew all the time. And of course, you can stack filters. So I've now got my black mist, my Pro Mist, whatever you like to call it. And I've also got here a variable ND. So you can pop the variable ND on top of the Pro Mist. So there I've got a variable ND stacked with a Pro Mist. A lot of problems you have with matte boxes is the fact that you have to screw a ring into the filter holder and then you attach the matte box, or it clamps on that way. I've had this Tilter matte box lying around not doing much for a little while, but what I found is that this opening of the matte box, the Tilter, it's the mini matte box, it's a sort of perfect diameter, and found that Tilter actually make a plastic insert. So what I've been doing is I've put the insert into the matte box and it sits in the inner ring there, and that actually sits perfectly over the end of the lens, and then we clamp it down. So what we have now is an inexpensive matte box solution for any of the Remus lenses because they all have the same lens diameter and measurements. And actually you can even, if you take these stacked filters that we did before, the Pro Mist and the variable ND, they actually stack inside that matte box too. And there it is. It's a pretty tight fit, but the best thing about it is, of course, that when you are packing away, take off the filters. So that is my inexpensive, but I think very effective way of having a matte box and filters on your lens. And the best thing is that the magnetic ring just sits so nicely in there, and it takes up so little space that the lens caps go back on and you can pop the lens back into your bag or the case or whatever. And that is how I use filters on my BLAZAR REMUS lenses.